Let's talk about family entertainment. You're about to hear the latest trends, expert insights, and behind-the-scenes stories of family fun centers. We'll be talking with arcade vendors, food vendors, attraction vendors, plus sharing life stories of owner-operators and much more. Stay tuned for engaging and informative content that will keep you coming back for more. And now, here's your host, Jeff Pierce of Atomic City Family Fun Center with the FEC World Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us on the FEC World Podcast, where we help you with all of family entertainment. We have all kinds of info, valuable content here for you. And today we have Kenan McEwan from JOLT. Kenan, how you doing today?
Doing well, Jeff. Thanks for asking. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, and I can't wait to hear what JOLT is all about. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Tell me a little bit about yourself first.
Of course, yeah. About myself, I work as a sales director here at JOLT, and have been with the company for about 15 months, which is a pretty short time. I'm pretty passionate about the FEC industry as we get to help improve and ensure that it's a safe place for the kind of places I enjoy going with my family in my free time.
Right.
Got a 5-year-old, so I'm very passionate about helping these businesses thrive. And I'm fortunate enough to work for a company, JOLT, who serves that industry specifically. Although our background ranges from food and beverage to entertainment facilities like this, we do have a great use case and have many happy clients in this industry already.
Good deal. Good deal. So tell me about the business JOLT. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, sure, of course. So to give you a quick background, we've been around for going on 13 years now, and we were founded by a Baskin-Robbins franchisee who had some issues running his store. He had some issues with managing a younger staff that was constantly rotating with turnover. He worked in a college town. He had some issues with making sure they were upholding the brand standards that he cared about and kind of making sure that important tasks were not being looked over. But the idea of JOLT came from him losing out on a bunch of ice cream, soupy ice cream, because temperatures were not getting recorded or checked frequently. And that lack of food safety discipline resulted in a pretty big bottom line impact for him, and springing the idea for creating a system like JOLT to improve the daily operations of his franchise there.
Wow, that's good. And health is what it's all about, health and safety, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of what we help out with.
Yeah, well, great. Well, tell me how we can help others as far as what you can do for them. Say if they're starting a family entertainment center and they've got a restaurant or a concession or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that most folks who get into this industry do it out of the passion in their hearts to have a great business to impact the community and make it a better place for folks. Where JOLT can help is on the day-to-day management of things. I think the last thing you want to do in a business like this is create an environment that you cannot control and leave you working in the business full time instead of having that freedom to work on the business. JOLT is a simple application to help you manage the day-to-day operations for your team members. Make it as simple as pie for your new employees, whether they're 15-year-olds working in their first ever job or more experienced employees, to track important tasks that need to be done, whether that has to do with your safety and operations or even something as simple as keeping the bathrooms clean. The JOLT application has a task verification checklist system where you can take photos verifying that the task has been done up to brand standard, ensuring you're giving your guests the best experience possible, time in and time out, which at the end of the day is going to make a massive impact on your success in this industry.
Gotcha. So tell me about the process. If someone wants to sign on with you today, will there be any on-site visits or Zoom meetings, software downloaded? Tell me a little bit about the process.
Of course. Great question, Jeff. So we're based out of Utah. We don't do a whole lot of on-site visits for that reason. We do work worldwide. So we work with brands here in the States and across the globe. A lot of the training is done virtually on a call like this, where we collaborate with the ideas you have in place right now for what is working well and what you'd like to improve. And we'll teach you and train you on the best practices from the other brands we work with that have seen great success. So signing up is as simple as downloading the JOLT app, meeting with a friendly member of our staff to get you trained and up and running on how to utilize it. You'll find that the back end of JOLT is pretty user-friendly. as far as creating procedures and brand standards, and then allowing your employees to see that in a very user-friendly way,
Okay.
where you can have on-the-spot training embedded within that Jolt app so
Okay.
that your young employees can view a quick photo reference or even a 30-second TikTok style video to
Wow.
train them how to clean out your pizza oven, for example.
Yeah.
Important things like that that really need to be done up to a certain standard to, again, ensure the best guest experience for your site.
Okay. So would there be some training videos for our staff?
Of course, yeah. So we have an entire knowledge base of videos that are accessible 24/7. But
Wow.
what Jolt does really well is we also assign you a dedicated account specialist.
Mhm.
That's a real person based out of our headquarters here in Lehigh, Utah,
Gotcha.
that will meet with you once, twice a week, as much as needed, because our mission here is really to help these FECs improve over time and become a fabric of your institution. If you use Jolt just occasionally and we throw you to the wolves to figure it out on your own, we find that folks end up canceling on us 2 months later, and we
Yeah.
don't make a lot of money off that, and y'all aren't too happy about it either.
Right.
So giving you that training and support is a key part of what we do to ensure you're going to stay with us for a long time. You're happy, and we're happy in that realm.
Well, we appreciate your transparency on that. It's always good someone be transparent and tell it like it is. That's how we want to be here on the FEC World Podcast. And so let's talk. We won't get into numbers, but do you have different packages to offer, or is there one set price? How does that work? You don't have to give me any numbers. Just
Of course, yeah, no, there's not one set price. Every business is a little bit different. The
right.
way it works, we do have specific modules, different features within our software. The most common package is, again, that customizable forms and checklists to run your operation the way you'd like to.
Mhm.
Our biggest competitor in this industry is pen and paper, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Folks who have written down processes of how things should run, and then they either actually physically check those off or they do it by memory, which
Mhm.
results in things falling through the cracks quite often. Our digital version of that paper checklist is what most of our FECs use, and that package starts as low as $80 a month and can be higher depending on the, the specific customization you need. So again, that's part of why we do that detailed training. It's not a very expensive monthly expense to you,
Mhm.
but if you stay with us for years to come, which is kind of our business model, we
Mhm.
end up making money from it, and you guys have a great uh, policy to follow that it's easy to train new employees on
Right.
and keep an eye on from remotely. I think
Right.
that's another key to this, Jeff, is having these things on an app can give you that freedom to check how your facility's running, make sure the restrooms are clean, even if you're not there to double check everybody's work all the time.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'll be looking at it all the time, probably. Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
that's very interesting. And so you would send a link once we wrote up an agreement. You'd send a link to us, simply download the app, and we can share that with our staff or just management. What would you recommend?
Yeah, I recommend sharing it with as many people who would want to use it.
Okay.
Now, some folks do set it up at just the manager level for their manager walkthroughs and those important tasks. Now, if you have down to the entry level employee using this Jolt app, it's going to help with that employee training. And
Uh-huh.
again, just make sure everyone's on the same page.
Well,
So go ahead, Jeff.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say some of the larger brands we work with use this Jolt app exclusively for their new employee training,
Uh-huh.
where you can not only hand them a digital checklist on their phone showing them what needs to be done, but you can also include in there little training bits as they go to show them how to do it. This
Yeah.
younger generation of staff sometimes gets a bad rap for not having good work ethic.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just because they don't know how to do things, haven't been raised in a way to have that knowledge. And if you make that accessible to them, you actually empower these young staff members to perform to their best abilities. And
Right.
that's what I love about Jolt.
Well, I tell you that brought up an idea, and you've probably heard this by several of your clients. How about, watching that, keeping an eye on it, and giving incentives to your staff for doing such a wonderful job when you see that change, and it just makes them want to do more and more. You see that a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. You say you don't know much about Jolt, but that's a key benefit of what we offer, right? You have reporting built into this, so you can see which employees are pulling their own weight.
Yep.
And it's a double-edged sword, right? You can use that for employee incentives and also employee evaluations. You've now got data for which employees are completing the most tasks. You can assign a point value to these tasks for those that are more difficult,
Wow.
and then reward those folks who are going above and beyond while they're on the clock. A lot of these younger staff members are pretty simple to please. If you give them a $5 Chick-fil-A card, they're going to be thrilled.
Exactly.
And if you've got the data to track how they're performing without having to babysit all day long,
Yeah.
it also gives you that data point to come back on when you have those tougher conversations with employees,
Mhm.
and you're no longer relying on hearsay or gossip about somebody not pulling their own weight. You now have existing data points to hold those conversations around.
Gotcha. Uh, is it pretty user friendly, the app?
It is, yeah. Again, like I mentioned, we work in the food service industry quite a bit. So
Yeah.
all of your popular drive-through food locations that hire new employees every month
Yeah.
use Jolt for not only what needs to be done, but training employees how to do it. We try to make it very simple so that anyone who has any level of using a smartphone can pick up the Jolt app and be trained self-sufficiently.
Gotcha. Well, say if a facility, restaurant, whatever the case may be, wants to get in contact with you, what would be the best way?
Yeah, best way is obviously visiting our website, jolt.com. There'll be calls to action there to get in touch with the right folks. You can certainly contact myself. I'm Kenan McEwan at jolt.com. So
Mhm.
pretty simple that way. Be happy to talk with just about anybody about how we can help serve you.
Well, do you go to IAPA too? Are you at IAPA?
Sure. Yep. I went last year for my first time. We'll be back this year. We travel quite frequently. We've been to a number of shows, again, serving this industry, indoor adventure park show going
Yeah.
on in I believe that's September. We'll be there. We've also got the World Water Park Association. We've got a relationship that's existing with the Bowling Proprietors Association of America. So the
Right.
Bowl Expo. We try to, reach out to the audience the best we can, being that we're from small town Utah. Getting out to the world isn't the easiest thing, but thankfully the internet and the virtual connection that we can make here, Jeff, facilitates that quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, and tell me again, how long you been in business?
Jolt's been around since 2012.
2012. Something's got to be going right, huh?
You're exactly right.
That's
Yep.
great.
I'm happy to be here. It's been great. I've been here for just over a year now, and it's really starting to be a place I can call home, and I enjoy what I do all day.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, Kenan, do you have any advice whatsoever to give someone that's opening up an FEC with a restaurant or a concession stand? What would be some advice that you could give them?
Sure, I haven't been in that situation myself, so
Okay.
the only advice I can give is, take a step back and don't try and reinvent the wheel. You
Mm.
don't know what you don't know, and there's experts out there that are happy to consult with you, give you the ideas of how to make things work to the best of the ability. Trust those folks who've been in it for a long time, like yourself, Jeff. Trust those systems that are built in place to help you so that you can stay focused working on the business
Right.
instead of, again, working in your center and becoming overwhelmed with the day-to-day yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Well, Kenan, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time today. Kenan McEwan with Jolt. And I tell you what sounds interesting. He's probably going to be receiving a call from one of my staff members pretty soon. Good stuff, Kenan. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you joining us for the FEC World Podcast. I'm Jeff Pierce, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for taking the time to enjoy this episode of the FEC World Podcast with Jeff Pierce. We hope you enjoyed today's episode filled with industry secrets and exciting updates. Be sure to subscribe to this show, leave us a review, and let us know what you think. Join us next week for more captivating interviews and essential tips from the FEC world. See you soon on the next FEC World Podcast.